Hi guys, come make this super easy butter chicken with me. So I've got my bowl of marinated chicken. I will list down the ingredients that I used to make this marinade. This was just left in the fridge for a day, but obviously you don't need to keep it that long. So to a pan, I'm adding the chicken and frying it off. Now you don't want to stir the chicken too much right now because you don't want the marinade to come off. But after a few minutes when it does start to cook, it should look like this, and that's when you could give it a good mix or just use the pan to mix it. So once my chicken is cooked, I'm just going to keep it aside in a bowl. To the same pan, I'm adding some more oil. Then I'm going to go in and add 2 small onions that have been diced. And I wasn't too precise with the sizing of the onions because it's going to get blended up anyways. So to my onion mixture, I'm going to give it a good mix and add a teaspoon of salt. Now my heat is on high flame, but I'm just going to reduce it down to medium because I don't want my onions to burn. Once your onions have got soft and changed colors, you want to add in 3 cubes of ginger and garlic paste, 1 cinnamon stick, and 2 bay leaves. Cook off your ginger and garlic paste. So I added a little bit more oil because it was looking a bit too dry. But once your ginger and garlic has cooked, add in your spices. So I added 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, 1 teaspoon of coriander powder, 2 teaspoons of mixed curry powder, 3/4 of turmeric and cumin, and 1 teaspoon of paprika. Give your spices a good mix. Now if it is looking dry, you can put the flame on low. I've just kept it at medium because I'm just going to keep an eye on it. Once I mixed my spices, I added a tablespoon of tomato puree. Gave that all a good mix. Then I added a little bit of water just to make sure that everything mixes properly. Now you want to cook off your spices. This is important because you don't want the gritty taste. Cooking off your spices gives more flavor. So what I like to do, add water, dry my spices off, add more water, dry it off. And I repeat that about 2-3 times. If you add water to your spices, you can keep the flame on medium, but just keep an eye on it because it might dry out too quickly. And you don't want to add too much water. So add about half a cup each time. And you want to make sure that you give everything a good mix. Once your spices have cooked, you'll start to see the oil. The oil will either come out to the top or to the side, and it'll be red in color, red, orangey in color. And that's when you know that your spices have cooked. Or you can also taste it and it feels a bit gritty, then you know it's not cooked yet. So as you can see right now, my spices have cooked. So I'm going to go in with a tin of tomatoes. This is just chopped tomatoes. I'm just going to add that into my pan and give everything a good stir. My flame is on medium heat. What I'm going to do is just give it a good mix and then just leave it for about 20 minutes. Because I want the tomatoes to cook properly, but obviously you need to stir it every now and again just to make sure that it doesn't burn. If you find that your tomatoes have dried up a lot, then you can add a bit more water. But this shouldn't dry up too quickly because it's on medium flame. Now, at this point, you can add some green chilies if you want to, but I didn't want to. So you can see my tomatoes have cooked and it starts bubbling. I'm going to add in some cashews. This is also optional. You don't need to add it in if you don't want to. I'm just going to leave the cashews in the pan for about 5 minutes. Once it starts looking like this, I'm going to take out the bay leaves and the cinnamon stick. I'm going to blend it. So I don't have a proper blender, so I'm using that Breville smoothie blender. So I had to do this in 2 batches. And guys, look how creamy that sauce is. When I added the mixture into the blender, I did add a little bit of water, not too much, but just a little bit of water to make sure that it blends smoothly. So I think I added about half a cup of water, and that's each time I blended it. So I'm putting it back on flame. I've kept it at low to medium. Now I'm going to add in some double cream. I've added less than a tub of double cream, and that's because I needed a little bit for the end. So I'm just going to give that a good mix, make sure that it's all combined well. And you can start to see how pretty the colors become. I'm just going to mix it until all the double cream is combined with my butter chicken. Once it starts to look like this, I'm going to add in my chicken that I left aside. Pour all your chicken pieces in, then mix it in. And you want to make sure the chicken soaks up all of that sauce. So after adding that chicken in, I let it sit in this sauce for about 4 or 5 minutes. And I've still got my flame on low. Now, it wouldn't be butter chicken without any butter. So I'm using 1 teaspoon of ghee and 1 teaspoon of butter. What I did with the ghee, I let it sit in the sauce for a few minutes. And once the ghee started to melt, but not all the way through, I took out that small piece. Mix everything well, and then you can go in with your garnish. So I just added a handful of coriander that's been washed and 1 pinch of methi, also known as fenugreek. This is just dried fenugreek. And with that leftover double cream I had, I just poured it around all over the sauce. Tried to do a pretty design, but this is what it looked like. Now guys, you can serve this with anything you want. I had it with naan, then I had it with rice. My husband had it with paranthas. This is such a hearty meal, proper comfort food. And if you give it a go, let me know. And if you guys enjoy my videos, please give me a follow. It just motivates me to post more.